is it? Oh my God, I lose this thing all the time. God, where is it? Oh, good, found it. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I was just looking for my favorite mug. But you know what, since you're here, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. You see, I've been a NeoVim fan for years and years and years, and I use it for pretty much everything. But lately, I've been coming to the conclusion that there's a lot of things you really shouldn't use NeoVim for. Now, I know you're thinking, Typecraft, this is neovim-conf. You're telling us why not to use neovim? What are you, f***ing crazy? And maybe I am. But I have some good ideas. Here, let me talk to you about it. Okay, so when I sat down to write the script for this video, I had a lot of fun ideas in mind. Basically, I was gonna poke fun at all the ways where you wouldn't want to use neovim, like looking at pictures in your terminal, which would lead to playing Doom in your terminal, which would have been fun. But as I was writing this script, I kind of came across a theme. And the more I wrote for the script, the more this theme became clearer and clearer. And that theme is the Unix philosophy of software design. Now, bear with me for a second. The Unix philosophy of software design, amongst many other things, basically says you should make each program do one thing well. And to do a new job, you should build afresh rather than complicate old programs by adding new features. Now, the Unix philosophy is a very, very powerful design pattern, and it has led to some of the most long tenured tools that you have used probably day to day in your life. I mean, look at this. Now, a common Unix tool is something for maybe checking your processes. So you can type ps-eaf and this will show you all of your processes. But the great thing about Unix tooling is that you can use the output of one Unix tool as the input of another Unix tool. So I could type ps-eaf and then pipe that using the pipe operator to the grep tool, and I can grep for a string. Let's just call it, I don't know, Chrome. And here are all the processes for Chrome running on my machine right now. Wow, that looks like a lot. You can use neovim just like a Unix tool. You can use the output from one Unix tool to neovim. It's pretty straightforward. Look, we can use find to find in this directory a file with the name of, let's just call it gemfile.lock. And we can pipe this using the exec command to neovim. And when we do that, we can see that the output of the find command gets opened up in neovim. So what do I mean by all this? Well, I think of neovim as a Unix-like tool, and I think it should be best used as a Unix-like tool. I mean, think about it. VI, which is the spiritual predecessor of neovim, was originally written by Bill Joy in 1976 for the X-line editor that Joy had written with Chuck Haley before. And this was released as part of the first edition of the Berkeley Software, BSD, Unix release in March of 1978, which means that VI is literally a Unix tool. And if neovim is the descendant of VI, then neovim itself must be, at least to some extent, a Unix-like tool. Therefore, I think the best way to use neovim is as if it were a more Unix-like tool, meaning that it does one job really well. And what's the job that neovim does really well? It's a fantastic text editor. So check this out. Here's some scenarios where I don't think you should use neovim, or rather other tools would be better than neovim for servicing these needs. Let's look at one example. Let's say I have a project right here, and in this project I have a spec. Now I can run this spec using a tool called vim-test, and if I run it with the basic strategy, it will just run it within neovim itself. It'll open up a new terminal, and this test will run in this new terminal. Now, this is a pretty cool feature, but this is kind of complicating neovim for me, right? I'm working on this controller spec, and now I'm pushed into this view here where I have this terminal, and if I type something, it goes away. So I'm kind of pushed out of my context here. But I think a better use case for this would be something like tmux. Here, let me show you. I'm just going to edit my configuration here for running my tests and use the vimux strategy for vim-test. Now, if I go back to my auth controller spec, if I am using tmux along with the plugin to actually make this test run in a different tmux pane, I can run this test and it'll open a tmux pane below my code. Now, this is great because this tmux pane is really just another terminal, right? It's all controlled by the same terminal window, but this tmux pane is another instance of this terminal essentially. So I can do all the terminal things that I want in here. I can put breakpoints in my code and step through things while this test is running. I can do all kinds of different things. things, it's a much more flexible solution that I think is better handled by the terminal versus running your code within Vim itself. Another scenario in which I don't think you should use neovim is long-running processes. Like this right here is a Rails application. If I open the terminal in neovim and run my actual development environment, I now have a long-running service running in neovim. Now this complicates neovim for me, even though it's in its own kind of built-in terminal within neovim, because I have my buffers, I have this terminal, and it's just kind of a bit too much for me. What I would rather have is something like, let's say tmux or another tab in my terminal emulator, where I can actually run these long-running processes on their own pane, which is really what the terminal is great for. It's long-running processes. So long-running processes is yet another reason where I don't think you should use neovim. Another scenario where I don't think neovim is the best tool for the job is complicated file management scenarios. Okay, so I mean, there's a few plugins that are really great within neovim that you could use for managing your files. There's neotree, which is fantastic, and there's also oil.nvim, which I love. Oil.nvim is amazing. But when it comes to actual complicated file maneuvering and moving a lot of things around, I think that a different tool would be better used for this, right? So let me just open up a new pane and show you what I mean. Let's just say I'm running Yazi as sort of a terminal file management system. I can go into any folder I want and I can actually do some really complicated file management things, okay? I can go into my, let's just say, app controllers. From this directory, let's just say I want to create a new folder. Let's call it admin namespace, right? And let's just say that all these controllers here, or at least a few of them, I'll just select some. Some of these controllers need to go in the admin namespace. So I can select all these controllers, I can yank them, I can go into the admin namespace and I can paste them in here just like that. Now this is a great example of some more sophisticated file management that you might need to do in day-to-day work in a project. And although I'm sure you could do this with neotree and you can do this with oil.nvim, I think this is a task that's better handled in the terminal or in a different file management system. Yazi is a great one for this. Now, another scenario in which you really shouldn't be using neovim is for Git management. Now I know this may seem a little bit controversial, but hear me out here. Within neovim, you have packages like Fugitive, you have Git lines, Git lens, you have all these great things that you can use within neovim to inspect commit messages, to inspect commits, to inspect logs, and that's all great. But I think when it actually comes to committing code, you're better off using something like LazyGit as a TUI. Right? And so LazyGit is fantastic. It is its own program. All its responsibility is to manage Git repository stuff. You can scroll down, you can stage commits, you can stage hunks of commits if you want. You can create new branches, make pull requests, push changes. LazyGit's fantastic, and that is the tool for the job of managing your Git repository. I don't think it's better handled in neovim, although there are some great plugins. I think having a tool for just that job is a little bit better and just makes more sense in my head. One more scenario where I don't think you should use neovim, and this may seem a little bit controversial because a lot of people have put a lot of effort into tooling around this, but I think you shouldn't really use neovim for visual debugging. If you're writing a Go program or Rust or anything that requires debugging, where you actually set some breakpoints and you step through them, if you're more comfortable in a visual debugger, then you should open that visual debugger program whenever you need to debug. I don't think neovim is really suited for visual debugging. Once again, this brings us back to neovim being a text editor by heart. And if it is a Unix-like tool, it should only do one thing really well, and that is text editing. If you expand neovim to do all of these other things, then it's no longer a text editor, it's an IDE. And neovim was never meant to be an IDE, nor was VI. It was meant to be a fantastic text editor. So I like to keep it that way. There's one more thing I want to talk to you about when you shouldn't use neovim, but here, follow me. I'll show you. Oh yeah, that's nice. So the last thing I don't think you should use neovim for, of course, is getting outside and touching grass. So get out there, don't forget your sunscreen, and hey, thanks nerds. I love the fall.